you're falling again. Or maybe you're back in that exam room, completely unprepared. Your teeth are crumbling out of your head. You wake up, heart pounding, drenched in sweat. That first wave of relief. Oh, thank God it wasn't really as immediate. But it's followed by an unsettling question. Why does my brain keep playing the same horror movie on a loop? These aren't just bad dreams. They feel like cryptic messages from the deepest, weirdest parts of your mind. They feel like a signal, a warning, and a puzzle. And today, we're going to decode them. We'll explore the neuroscience of why your brain loves to replay stressful scenarios and what these intense recurring dreams are trying to tell you about your waking life. This isn't about fortune telling or dream dictionaries. This is about the science behind your own personal haunted house. First, let's get on the same page about what we're dealing with. Nightmares aren't just any bad dream. They are vivid, disturbing, and so emotionally intense, filled with terror, anxiety, or confusion, that they often jolt you awake. Most of them happen in the second half of the night when our periods of REM, or rapid eye movement, sleep get longer. This is the sleep stage where most of our memorable, story-like dreaming happens. The vast majority of adults have experienced a nightmare at least once. And then there are recurring dreams. These are the reruns of your subconscious. The same themes, the same feelings, sometimes with identical details, playing out night after night or popping up during times of stress. Studies have shown that a lot of people experience them, with some estimates suggesting between 60 to 75% of adults. Common themes include being chased, falling, being unprepared for a test, or losing control of a car. For a long time, these were dismissed as random brain static. But both science and psychology now lean toward a different idea. Recurring dreams are rarely random. The leading thought, known as the continuity hypothesis, is that our dreams often reflect our waking concerns and anxieties. So a recurring dream often signals that there's an unresolved emotional issue your conscious mind hasn't fully processed. Think of it as your brain highlighting a file that needs your attention and refusing to put it away until you finally open it. So, what's actually happening in your head when one of these nightly horror shows kicks off? Well, during REM sleep, your brain is surprisingly busy. As you're dreaming, there's a unique pattern of brain activity. Key emotional centers, especially the amygdala, your brain's threat detection system, create firing on all cylinders. This is your fear hub. At the same time, the hippocampus, which is like your brain's memory librarian, is busy weaving together recent events with older memories. And here's the crucial part. While your emotional and memory centers are in overdrive, another key region, the prefrontal cortex, has clocked out for the night. The prefrontal cortex is your brain's voice of reason. It handles logic, planning, and impulse control. Its reduced activity during REM sleep is the reason why the most bizarre, illogical dream scenarios can feel completely real and terrifying. Your brain's alarm is blaring, but the part that would normally say, "Hey, this is just a dream, relax," is mostly offline. This creates the perfect storm for a nightmare. High emotion, vivid memories, and a total suspension of disbelief. Your brain isn't just showing you random pictures. It's running emotional fire drills based on your deepest fears. This brings us back to that persistent question. Why the reruns? Why the same dream over and over? Psychologists and neuroscientists believe recurring dreams are often metaphors for unresolved conflicts in our lives. That dream where you're being chased, it might not be about a literal monster, but about a deadline you're avoiding or a difficult conversation you're dreading, something that feels like it's chasing you. The falling dream might represent a feeling of losing control over your career or a relationship. One powerful idea for why this happens is the threat simulation theory, a hypothesis from neuroscientist Antti Revonsuo. This theory suggests that dreaming may have evolved as a biological defense mechanism, a sort of virtual reality simulator where our brain can practice for threatening situations in a safe environment. By running these drills at night, rehearsing how we perceive and avoid threats, our brain might be trying to better prepare us for challenges in the real world. This idea gets some support from studies of people who've experienced trauma, as they often report more threatening dreams, suggesting the brain is working overtime to process the event. Another perspective is that recurring dreams point to unmet psychological needs. Some researchers suggest we have 3 basic psychological needs: to feel independent and in control, autonomy, to feel capable, some brace traits, and to feel connected to others, relatedness. According to this framework, a dream where you're failing an exam you didn't study for could be your brain's way of flagging insecurities about your competence at work. The dream is the symptom. The frustrated need is the cause, and the dream will likely keep coming back until the underlying issue is addressed. It's clear our brains are trying to work through some important stuff with these dreams. I'm curious, what are some of the recurring dream themes you've noticed? Without sharing anything too personal, of course, let me know in the comments below. It's fascinating to see the common patterns that we all share. And if you're finding this trip through the mind as interesting as I do, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what we dive into next. For most of us, nightmares are just an occasional unpleasant detour in our sleep. But for some, they become a chronic problem. When nightmares are frequent, cause major distress, wreck your sleep, and lead to daytime issues like anxiety or a fear of going to sleep, it can be diagnosed as nightmare disorder. While estimates vary, some suggest it affects around 2 to 5% of adults. This condition is especially common in people with post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. For individuals with PTSD, nightmares are often not metaphorical. They can be direct, terrifying replays of a traumatic event. Studies have found that a high percentage of people with PTSD, in some cases up to 70–80%, experience frequent nightmares. In these situations, the brain isn't just processing stress. It seems to be stuck in a loop, unable to file the traumatic memory away as a past event. The amygdala may stay overactive, keeping the brain on high alert even during sleep. Whether it's from trauma or other causes, when nightmares consistently steal your rest and peace of mind, they're no longer just a curiosity. They're a clinical concern that deserves real attention. Here's the good news. You are not powerless against your nightmares. You don't just have to put up with them. One of the most effective and well-researched treatments is a cognitive behavioral technique called Imagery Rehearsal Therapy, or IRT. It has a strong track record for being effective, even for stubborn, trauma-related nightmares. The process is surprisingly simple but incredibly powerful. It works in 3 steps. First, you write down the story of a recurring nightmare in as much detail as you can. Second, you consciously rewrite the dream. You can change anything you want, the setting, the characters, the plot, but the key is to change the ending to something neutral or even positive. The monster chasing you could turn into a friendly cartoon character, or you could suddenly discover you have superpowers and can fly away. The goal is to take back control of the story. The third and most important step is rehearsal. For a few minutes each day, you close your eyes and vividly imagine this new, rewritten version of the dream. You're basically rehearsing a new script for your mind. This process does two things. It dials down the fear and helplessness by giving you a sense of control. And over time, it can actually change the dream itself. Many people find that after practicing IRT, the nightmare happens less often, becomes less intense, or is even replaced by the new version they created. While it's not a magic fix for everyone, studies show IRT can lead to significant reductions in nightmare frequency, offering a powerful way to reclaim your sleep. Those cryptic messages your brain sends at night, the falling, the chasing, the terrifying replays are not just random noise. They're a profound and deeply personal broadcast from your mind as it tries to navigate the world. They're the result of an intricate dance between emotion, memory, and your brain's ancient survival instincts. Nightmares and recurring dreams are a signal that something needs our attention. They reflect our unresolved conflicts, our deepest anxieties, and our unmet needs. But they are not a life sentence. Understanding the science behind them, the overactive amygdala, the quiet prefrontal cortex, the brain's threat simulation programming, demystifies the experience and strips away some of their power. And with tools like imagery rehearsal therapy, we know we have the ability to engage with these dreams, to rewrite their scripts, and to quiet the storms in our own minds. Your dreams are a conversation with yourself. By learning to listen and to talk back, you can turn a theater of fear into a space for understanding and, ultimately, for healing.